It is all bad news. It is doom and gloom. Canada, it is coming to an end, the Tesla saga. Or is it? Tax incentives have been cut, but perhaps there's some silver lining, and we're going to find out all about it. Joining me, as he sometimes does, is Mark from The Tesla Life. We're going to get into it and find out what's going on. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Oh, Mark, what a weekend we have had just recently. Were you up to anything? Anything going on with you?
No, nothing.
Oh, good.
Just huge drives across the country. Nothing really.
So Mark was gracious enough to join us at the big event in Muskegon and got to moderate a panel on financial matters.
Exactly.
That was
exciting.
A lot of fun.
Exactly.
Got to meet some of your biggest heroes. But apart from me, was there anybody else exciting?
Brian, you're always a zinger. You got that ready to go. Just boom.
I have been known to zing a time or two.
Yeah.
So let's just jump into this. We have got some story here for yous. Yeah, terrible news, all y'all. BC government changes EV rebate program. Tesla Model 3 and Y have lost eligibility. Tell me about this story circa its release.
Yes, the British Columbia government has saw it in their right to modify the provincial rebate that they're offering in BC, a $4,000 incentive outside of the federal credit, which is also able to be recouped by people in BC. But this $4,000 credit has been modified so that the cars that they're giving that credit on are now have a reduced price cap. They dropped $5,000 to $50,000. So if you're over that amount, no provincial rebate is available. If you're under that amount, there is a provincial rebate available. So even the Model 3 rear-wheel drive is slightly over that rebate. So there was a time not just a few hours ago that both the Model Y and the Model 3 were valid for that. And after this change, they were no longer valid.
Yeah, which is, a bit crazy. So unfortunate, it takes effect June 18th. That's yesterday, which, by the way, is so much fun when you've already ordered a car and you're going to pick it up on Tuesday. I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
So then we've got another story here. Turns out there's a little update. I don't know if you've heard. I suspect you have, since you were the one who shared it with me. Tesla lowers Model 3 prices in Canada.
Yeah, so Tesla saw the news. They're in tune with the rebates that are available North American wide, worldwide actually, and they said, you know what, we're not going to just lay down and take this. We have some wiggle room on the price of the Model 3 rear-wheel drive, and we're going to drop it by about $1,000. And guess what? That just puts it under the $50,000 mark, and all of a sudden, the province's $4,000 rebate is available again on the Model 3. So not 24 hours later, Tesla has decided to shuffle the deck a little bit more. And although they didn't get all the cars under the rebate amount, they did get the most affordable one under the rebate amount. And by the way, they didn't just lower the price in British Columbia, the one province. They lowered it across the board, Canada-wide. And that has set a new milestone for Canadian prices in Canadian dollars, that the Model 3 rear-wheel drive is now under $50,000. It's never been that low before in Canada in Canadian dollars. So that's a plus for everyone in Canada, not just those in British Columbia.
That is a big win all around. Now, did you know this is not the first or last, probably, price cut in Canada? It was not that long ago. What have we got here? April 29th, we saw a $3,000 price cut as well.
That's right. That's right. So these little bits here and there have been happening over the past year and a half or so. And it's been great to see this as a consumer, that you're sitting there saying that, hey, it's getting more affordable as we go along. Now, of course, Tesla prices change all the time, up and down. So I
Mhm.
certainly wouldn't, count on it dropping too much further than where it sits. If you're on the fence about getting a Model 3, this might be the time to act, because it's never been this low previously.
That is true. Now, do only humans qualify, or what about the Mises? That's
I
plural
have
of
not.
moose.
I
I'm
have not
curious.
heard. I have not heard of a moose purchasing a Model 3 or any other vehicle at all. So
They probably don't qualify for the credit.
why don't
So
you
this
give
means
your
that
why don't
just
you give a why don't you give a call to your friend the moose and send them in, see what he tells you.
for those who haven't caught the show with Mark before, it is the show that I do at the end of a long day of shooting. And today it was a long day of shooting and driving, so I'm definitely a little punchy. So this means that this same car that was just a few months ago 54,000 is now effectively 46,000 with the credit.
On
Go
top
ahead.
of that, there's also a $5,000 federal credit that can be combined with that, so it pushes the price even lower.
Oh, 41,000.
Canadian
Oh,
dollars.
that's yeah, and that's also Canadian dollars. So
Yep.
that's a pretty good deal. Hmm.
Yep.
Uh, and these cars, the cost of goods sold is coming down. The supply chain is always getting tightened. The manufacturing process is always getting refined and improved. This is the first move. The next move has to be interest rates at some point will have to, they've already stabilized. They need to come back down. Once they come back down, this gets even more affordable. And as more renewables are rolled out, hopefully that additionally improves pricing. Do you know how much wind power there is in Canada? Because I know across the Midwest, across the Great Plains, there's a tremendous amount of wind, but I don't know how far north that stretches.
Absolutely. Through the prairie provinces into Ontario and Quebec, there are wind farms all along the way. So obviously, Canada's population is about 10 times less than the United States. So again, the wind farms are proportional to that as well. So, but we definitely do have the wind currents that you'll see in the upper plains of the United States that extends into Canada, and therefore wind farms are viable here as well.
I've been to Saskatchewan, but only in the winter, and it definitely looked like the high plains of Montana. So
Yep.
I imagine well, yeah, I mean, it's just across the border in some parts. Anyway, go to Montana and hang a left. That's what I did. That's how I get to Regina.
Ah, Regina. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I met an,
don't
yeah.
forget Winterpeg.
I met a man in Victoria, BC, the father of a friend of mine when I was in high school, who told me if Canada had an enema plug, it would be Winnipeg. Now, I don't know what that means, and I don't know if it's changed since the early 90s, but he was a very funny man. So I don't know anything about it. My apologies to my one viewer in Winnipeg. I'm sure it's a place, but I can't confirm it because I've not been there. So I'm a little short, but we've got more good news to get to throughout the week. What did we miss? What do we misunderstand? Are you in the Great White North? And do you have thoughts on this? Does this matter? Is this a reasonable tax rebate to get in the first place? It is a pretty steep discount. I don't know how much you could ask for apart from more models qualifying. So if you do me a favor, head on over to the Tesla Life, see what Mark and the gang are up to. Casey and Patrick do some good work as well. And everybody else, like, subscribe, smack your thumbs, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one.